Hi, my name is Dean Drako. I am the president and CEO of Eagle Eye Networks, which is the world's largest cloud video surveillance company. Prior to founding and creating Eagle Eye Networks in the video surveillance space, I was the founder and CEO of a company called Barracuda Networks, which was a large company in the cybersecurity space. And I also am the chairman of a company, Brivo, which is the largest access control company, cloud access control company in the world, operating more than 15 million credentials on their cloud-based access control system. I'd like to talk today about smart buildings and the evolution of smart buildings. There are 4 subject areas that I'm going to try and cover if we have enough time. The first is the changing dynamics and changing requirements on smart buildings, given the new world that we live in. The second is cybersecurity related to smart buildings and what some of that takes and how it needs to work. And third, we'll talk a little bit about how the cloud plays into the smart building environment, why cloud is important, where it plays. And fourth, if we have enough time left, I'd like to talk a little bit about a project that I'm working on related to COVID-19, of using thermal cameras to detect elevated body temperature as a screening process for entering into a building. So first, as I'm sure all of you know, buildings have many systems. Those systems work together. One of the things that buildings have been designed for and engineered for over the years is people safety. We have a lot of regulations, a lot of rules, a lot of design methodologies for especially related to fire of buildings and making sure that the buildings are safe if a fire happens. We have a lot of structural safety to make sure buildings don't collapse. But I think we're entering a new era where the viral or health of workers relative to, given our COVID-19 situation, buildings are going to be looked at in order to provide healthy environments that are safe for people, even when some of the people in the building may be infected. I think this may have impact on ventilation systems and regulations around those. I think it may have impact on entrance systems. And I think it may have impact on, touchless doorways or other places that we reduce contact. And so you may see relatively quickly over the next 10 or 20 years, regulations and methodologies to enhance building safety. Traditionally, access control and video surveillance have been small add-ons to building design. As we get more focused on safety of all types, I think the access control and the video surveillance system, which contribute to this safety, is going to become more integral and more important in the smart building environment. I obviously also believe that these systems will migrate to the cloud for the many cloud benefits. Safety continues to grow in importance. And obviously video surveillance and access control are focused in that market and have been for the longest time. I'd like to move to the second point and talk about cybersecurity of buildings, smart buildings in particular. As we hook up all of these systems to the network, whether that be the HVAC system, the lighting system, the access control system, the video surveillance system, the elevators, all of the functions of the building, whether they be intercom, speakers, audio systems, fire alarm systems, whatever it may be, we end up being more and more vulnerable to cyber hacking. And the interesting thing or the challenging thing about cybersecurity is it's a constantly evolving battle. It's no different than any other kind of battle against nefarious operators or bad people, as we say, that there is a continuous attempt or evolution to increase the security and reduce the penetrations. And so cybersecurity isn't something that you can do once in a building and then forget about. It's a little bit different. It needs continuous maintenance, like an HVAC system. You can't just install it and forget about it. Traditionally, video surveillance systems and access control systems have been installed and then mostly forgotten. And in the smart building environment, that's not possible any longer. You need to have continuous maintenance. That cybersecurity requires cybersecurity expertise, and that's something that is new in the building market, something that we haven't necessarily done historically. I think it's quite important. So I believe cybersecurity will grow, and I think that you'll end up with cybersecurity building experts that will play a big role. The third thing I'd like to talk about is the impact of the cloud on all of this. The cloud brings two major benefits to building management and building organization. The first is remote management, so that you can modify, adjust, tune items based on if you're not there. And second is basically remote monitoring, so that you can actually determine from a centralized monitoring station if anything has gone amiss with the operating systems of the building. Okay. Those two benefits, in addition to the ability to manage large quantities of buildings or multiple buildings from a single, reduce cost while increasing the level of service and quality. Those two benefits come for free with the cloud. And so I believe that you'll see most of the systems in a building managed from a cloud management console and remotely managed. You'll have a reduction of the servers in the building. Those will be placed in data centers that are designed for holding servers and are more reliable at doing so. And that'll be for the HVAC, for the access control, for the video surveillance, for the elevator management, for everything and anything that operates and controls the building. It'll be for the time clocks. It'll be for the alarm systems. Everything will become cloud-based. We'll establish redundant, highly reliable connections. The systems will work if the building is disconnected from the cloud, but with the cloud, you'll get the remote monitoring and management. That's the future that we're headed into. The benefits are obvious. It also converts things into a pay-as-you-go model versus a capital equipment expenditure model. The last item I'd like to touch on, item 4, is a little bit of work that we've been doing at Eagle Eye Networks in conjunction with Brivo on the access control side with thermal cameras. We've been experimenting and testing and integrating thermal cameras at doorways of office buildings in order to determine whether they can be useful as a tool for screening people as they enter the building to detect if they have an elevated temperature. We have some videos and stuff posted on it. I think I'm mostly out of time here, so I'll kind of summarize this briefly. The thermal cameras have actually proven pretty accurate in our testing when used with the appropriate AI technology integrated in the platform. And the notifications of alerts of people with fever coming in the building seem to be pretty effective. We've been surprised, I guess, at how we're able to deploy some of these tools in some of our test buildings. And so we're hopeful that this may be a tool that will help us get back to a more normal life, and that's something that might be useful further down the road. So with that, if there's any questions, or I'll hand it back to Richard.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dean. I think the thermal thing that is very much questions about in these days, because we all need to get back to the office. Yeah. We want to do it.
We would all get back there. Yeah, get back to a normal life.
Yeah. Well, I introduced you that you did beat Elon Musk. You didn't say anything about that, but you are like a multiple entrepreneur, and you do a lot of things. I saw on Google. I Googled you.
Yes.
One of the things that you do is you're building an electric car.
Yes, we're building a 4-motor electric car, very high performance, kind of ultra. It's also referred to these days as a hypercar. It's beyond supercar. with 1,200 horsepower and crazy track performance.
What kind of lessons can you learn from these different kind of industries that you are, an entrepreneur in? What can you learn, and what can you bring back to real estate or to...
Software. It's all about the software.
There you go.
Software is the hard part. Software is the challenging part. Software is the reliability challenge. Software is the expensive part. It all boils down to the software.
Thank you very much, Dean, all the way from Austin, Texas.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate you listening in to me. Bye-bye,
Thank you. Bye-bye.